Sunday, February 23. An enemy has done this. Read Matthew chapter 13, verses 24 to 27. How does the parable help us understand evil in our world? Matthew 13, beginning at verse 24. Jesus told them another parable. The kingdom of heaven is like a man who sowed good seed in his field. But while everyone was sleeping, his enemy came and sowed weeds among the wheat and went away. When the wheat sprouted and formed heads, then the weeds also appeared. The owner's servants came to him and said, "Sir, didn't you sow good seed in your field? Where then did the weeds come from?" Jesus tells the story of a landowner who sows only good seeds in his field. However, tares spring up among the wheat. Upon seeing this, the servants of the owner ask him, "Sir, did you not sow good seed in your field? How then does it have tares?" This is similar to the question often asked today concerning the problem of evil. If God created the world entirely good, why is there evil in it? Read Matthew 13, verses 28 to 30 in light of Christ's explanation in Matthew 13, verses 37 to 40. How does this also shed light on the nature of the cosmic conflict? First of all, Matthew 13, 28 to 30. An enemy did this, he said. The servants asked him, "Do you want us to go and pull them up?" "No," he answered, "because while you are pulling the weeds, you may uproot the wheat with them. Let both grow together until the harvest. At that time I will tell the harvesters, 'First, collect the weeds and tie them in bundles to be burned, then gather the wheat and bring it into my barn.'" And verses 37 to 40, he answered, "The one who sowed the good seed is the Son of Man. The field is the world, and the good seed stands for the people of the kingdom. The weeds are the people of the evil one, and the enemy who sows them is the devil. The harvest is the end of the age, and the harvesters are angels. As the weeds are pulled up and burned in the fire, so it will be at the end of the age." The master replies to his servant's question, "An enemy has done this," in verse 28. Jesus later identifies the one who sows the good seed as the Son of Man, who is Jesus himself in verse 37, and explains that the field is the world in verse 38, and the enemy who sowed the tares is the devil in verse 39, explicitly depicting a cosmic conflict between Christ and Satan. Why is there evil in the world? Evil is the result of the enemy, the devil, who opposes the master. An enemy has done this, Jesus said in verse 28. This answer, however, provokes the follow-up question. Do you want us then to go and gather them up? In other words, why not uproot the evil immediately? "No," the master replies, "lest while you gather up the tares you also uproot the wheat with them. Let them grow together until the harvest." And that's verses 29 and 30. And we compare that with Mark chapter 4 and verse 29. Then Jesus said, "Whoever has ears to hear, let him hear." According to the parable, God will finally put an end to evil, but uprooting it prematurely would result in irreversible collateral damage that harms the good. And so to finish today, what are some of the dangers in seeking to uproot the tares from the wheat now? At the same time, why does this not mean simply ignoring the evil that we encounter?
Sunday, February 23. An enemy has done this. The teaching of this parable, the wheat and tares, is illustrated in God's own dealing with men and angels. Satan is a deceiver. When he sinned in heaven, even the loyal angels did not fully discern his character. This was why God did not at once destroy him. Had he done so, the holy angels would not have perceived the justice and love of God. A doubt of God's goodness would have been as evil seed that would yield the bitter fruit of sin and woe. Therefore, the author of evil was spared fully to develop his character. Through long ages, God has borne the anguish of beholding the work of evil. He has given the infinite gift of Calvary rather than let any be deceived by the misrepresentations of the wicked one, for the tares could not be plucked up without danger of uprooting the precious grain. And shall we not be as forbearing toward our fellow men as the Lord of heaven is toward Satan? The Upward Look, page 77. Christ has not committed to us the work of judging character and motive. He knows our nature too well to entrust this work to us. Should we try to uproot from the church those whom we suppose to be spurious Christians, we should be sure to make mistakes. Often we regard as hopeless subjects the very ones whom Christ is drawing to himself. Were we to deal with these souls according to our imperfect judgment, it would perhaps extinguish their last hope. Many who think themselves Christians will at last be found wanting. Many will be in heaven who their neighbors supposed would never enter there. Man judges from appearance, but God judges the heart. The tares and the wheat are to grow together until the harvest, and the harvest is the end of probationary time. There is in the Savior's words another lesson, a lesson of wonderful forbearance and tender love. As the tares have their roots closely intertwined with those of the good grain, so false brethren in the church may be closely linked with true disciples. The real character of these pretended believers is not fully manifested. Were they to be separated from the church, others might be caused to stumble, who but for this would have remained steadfast. Christ's Object Lessons, pages 71 and 72. We are to beware of indulging a spirit of bigotry and intolerance. We are not to stand aside from others in a spirit that seems to say, "Come not near to me, for I am holier than thou." We are not to shut ourselves away from our fellow human beings, but are to seek to impart to them the precious truth that has blessed our own hearts. However, we should be firmly rooted in the conviction that whatever in any sense turns aside from truth and justice in our association and partnership with men cannot benefit us and greatly dishonors God. In Heavenly Places, page 310.
And remember, God is always faithful.